What's up, guys? Rick from DFS On Demand here with your one and done preview for this week's Genesis Invitational. And oh my God, is this field absolutely stacked? Last week was a weird situation. Didn't really know who to take at Pebble Beach. You were either going up and getting DJ, you were sticking with Phil, or you were just grabbing somebody else that was available to you. There was really no clear path around here. There's kind of really no clear path for this week, but that is because there is a bounty full of riches around Genesis and around Riviera. So let's hop into this. So this is the one and done tool that I have on dfsondemand.com. You can go over here and check it out. But like Bubba, I think very clearly is going to be one of the more popular one and done picks for this week, and he probably should be. Bubba would have been popular here no matter what his lead-in form was. Actually, let me see if I can find what his lead-in form was last year real quick. All right, so these are the game logs that I just pulled up, and here is Bubba last year at the Genesis. So he came in, I guess a fourth place at Scottsdale would have started to move the needle on him. But before that, he missed the cut at YLI, finished 31st out of probably 30-something at the Tournament of Champions, 12th out of 18 at the Hero World Challenge, 29th out of probably 30 at the Tour Championship. So it is safe to say Bubba was playing pretty much like hot garbage leading into this event last year outside of the event directly before a fourth place finish at Waste Management. And even with that being said, this was the most popular place to use Bubba in the Gups Corner one and done last year, which I think is logical. And now that we've got Bubba coming in on a bit of a heater with like a sixth place finish and a fourth place finish in his last two starts, and now getting to Genesis where he's won 3 times, it is almost certainly going to be a big Bubba week. So I think it's fine. If you're going to use Bubba here, that's one thing. I'll probably wait and save him for this spot over here at the TPC River Highlands, which is Travelers, and go from there. There's kind of a few natural Bubba spots on the schedule, and you can see last year's ownership. Bubba was the highest owned golfer. Hideki came in next, 276. So Bubba was 344. Hideki was 276. DJ was 251. Xander 222. JT 211. Rory McIlroy 208. So if I show you this on a graph version, let me pull up the winner's path from last year. You can see. So the eventual winner actually had Tony Finau, but this is probably one of the few times in the year where 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 different golfers were owned more than 200 times. That's pretty significant. That to me says there are a lot of, picks being spread around. And quite frankly, this field is deeper than it was last year. This is now an invitational, so you are getting larger prize pools. So I think that, using one of these really good guys makes a lot of sense. So when we go over and look at some of these big dogs here, if we go over to full field values here, it's absolutely stacked, right? You've got Rory up here, and again, this is one of the larger prize purses. This purse is 11 out of 36. And Rory, no surprise with how much win equity he has here, certainly leads the way in expected value, nearly $360,000. We're getting into big numbers now. Justin Thomas up there. If you make the range shorter, so if we move this to like since 2019, I bet you John Rahm pops up here. Oh wow, look at this. Rory gets even better. He's won so many events in the last calendar year. You can see what a massive. He's now over $500,000 in expected value. Obviously, it's a much smaller sample size, so the results are going to be more volatile. But you can see how much money is up for grabs here. I did want to go back and look at something really quick here. Let's go to Rory. and see where Rory was used last year. Arnold Palmer, Masters, and Open Championship were the three places that he was used the most. And he Genesis was probably his fifth most used spot here. I don't mind using one of the big boys here. If Rory gets used, I think that's fine, because this prize pool is bigger than it was last year for the Genesis, I believe, now that it's an invitational. So I certainly don't mind that. However, I will say I think the strategy should be to get one of the second tier studs. For example, Patrick Cantlay is, in my opinion, a very good one and done this week. Here's Patrick Cantlay. We have seen him win invitationals. He won the Memorial. That's an invitational. That's a very difficult field. He's playing well. He has good history around here, and there isn't a natural fit for Patrick Cantlay. And in fact, 300 of you, 290 of you have already used him. You used him last week. So I do feel that this is a pretty good spot for someone like a Cantlay, or even someone like a Hideki. If you have not used Hideki yet through Waste Management, where do you intend on using him? Because you can see, if you look at last year, incredibly popular at the Waste Management, and then he was popular here at the Genesis, but he doesn't get used all that much. Already 1,000 of you have used Hideki. 32 used him at Sony, 447 used him at the Farmers, and 531 used him at Waste Management. So what is that, like a third of the field? It's quite possible that Hideki is the most used golfer so far. So if you look at it that way, now you get Hideki, who, he's playing just fine. The putter stinks, we know that, but the rest of his game right where we'd expect it to be, excuse me. And the record around here is pretty great. 9th place last year, 11th in 2016, and 4th in 2015. Yeah, he did miss the cut in 2017, and he didn't play in 2018, but that's 3 top 11 finishes in his last 4 trips here. So there's really no reason to knock Hideki, and now that this prize pool is much larger, that's a really good spot. Even someone like Tony Finau. If you haven't used Tony Finau, let's see who's used Tony. Tony's the perfect skill set. He's the absolute perfect skill set around here. It's just a matter of, yes, I know he can't win, blah, 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 all that stuff, right? But he's already been used 550 times. 458 used him at the Farmers Insurance. So Finau's already been pretty heavily used. I wouldn't mind going with him there. And then if you really wanted to get deeper, this is such a star-studded field. Going deep is still getting some really impressive golfers. What about a Patrick Reed or a Mark Leishman? I'll show you Patrick Reed here, but what about Mark Leishman? Patrick Reed, he will be very popular at Valspar. He was very popular at the 3M last year and at the Wyndham. Other than that, he doesn't really get picked anywhere. But he hits his long irons well. He plays long courses very well. We know he can win in deep fields like the Northern Trust and the Masters. Ever heard of that tournament? So Patrick Reed is certainly in play. I like Mark Leishman. That's probably a little bit too deep. But what about, I keep saying what about? What about Justin Rose? I mean, the bounce back of Rose off of the missed cut at Farmers is kind of interesting too, right? I mean, people are going to save him for, Arnold Palmer Invitational was his second most popular event last year. And this is essentially the same thing. The Arnold Palmer is going to be an event that mimics how difficult the course is going to be, how deep the field is going to be. And while Rose hasn't played here since 2017, he was 4th that year and 16th the year prior. So what I'm getting at here is I believe that you have quite a few really good options. I think the play is to take a second tier stud. There's plenty of them here, and try to just especially guys with high win upside or win equity. Patrick Reed, Patrick Cantlay, Hideki even. Who am I showing right now? I mean, Tony Finau, I know the whole win equity thing. Justin Rose, I think they're all in play. So I'm going to go with a second tier stud in my lineup and hope to pick the right one while saving my top tier studs for later in the season. All right, that's it. Let me know who you're going with. Tweet me. It's at RickRunGood or leave a comment below. See ya.